Please click the link in the description below to make yourself more aware about the strikes that are happening right now. And please support those actors and writers that are on strike today. Who has been talking to Baylan Skoll? Baylan has emerged as one of the most compelling characters in the new canon. Even though he is clearly a dark force user, some of his Jedi morals still resonate within him. I believe this mindset enables him to be more open to the Force, a trait demonstrated multiple times throughout the series. This could be the reason why only Baylan is hearing a call, and I believe this call is originating from only 3 entities in the universe. These entities could include the following: Abeloth, a precursor to Snoke, or the first Zepho that fell to the dark side. As for Abeloth, Abeloth has established herself as the most powerful entity in all of Star Wars lore. To make you understand, Abeloth's power was so potent and dangerous that she was imprisoned for the potential madness and chaos she would drive the galaxy into. There was even a point in which she eventually broke free of the chains that bound her, and only when Prime Luke Skywalker, several Jedi, and some of the most powerful Sith in the galaxy would have to unite to defeat her. And even then, they did not destroy her completely. But Abeloth always needed to escape when she was imprisoned, and this feat was only possible when the current flow of the Force was altered. As Abeloth grew in power in her prison, she was able to reach out with her voice, to manipulate Force-sensitive beings that heard her call, like a siren. Baylan has clearly heard a song, and this has now become Baylan's prime objective: to answer the call. But Baylan could be falling for the same manipulation several of Abeloth's victims fell to. Abeloth was able to enter a Force-sensitive's mind, creating incredibly real illusions, deceptions of emotions, and their intent. But more importantly, seduction and temptation. Baylan is currently looking for a power to change the current infinite switch in power of how the Force is consistently thrown between balance and unbalance. As mentioned in episode 6.
You realize it's all inevitable. Fall of the Jedi, rise of the Empire. It repeats again and again and again. What I seek is the beginning, so I may finally bring this cycle to an end.
Perhaps Abeloth is using this purpose to tempt Baylan to seek out and free her. Now, regarding Snoke. Snoke has already demonstrated abilities very similar to what Baylan is experiencing. Whether it is merely a call from a voice or illusions that are deceiving Baylan, Snoke has already deceived both Kylo Ren and Rey in a similar fashion. Snoke's deception could easily play right into what Baylan is seeking. But most importantly, we've already seen in the episodes of The Mandalorian that the Empire has begun experimenting with cloning. Cloning has always been the solution for bringing back Palpatine. It not only happened in The Rise of Skywalker, but has also drawn inspiration from the Dark Empire comics released in 1991. I believe Snoke, or whatever Snoke's existence is based off of, could potentially be what is lingering on Peridea. In the current canon, in the Aftermath trilogy, something called out to Palpatine, something ancient and originating from deep space, wild space. Several fans have believed this to be Exegol, but I think you could easily debate the origins, that this could also be Snoke reaching out to Palpatine. And what's very similar about that is that that call was not able to be detected by Darth Vader. Only Palpatine, who had dipped so deeply into the dark side of the Force, was able to hear the frequency of that call. I think this is very similar to how Baylan, only Baylan, is hearing the voice that is calling him on Peridea. And now finally for the Zepho. Jedi Fallen Order introduced the ancient alien race known as Zepho, and the game clearly reveals to us that the Zepho fell to the dark side, and it was ultimately what destroyed their civilization. The only known thread that connects the Zepho with what is happening in Ahsoka is that there are Zepho hieroglyphics seen on Peridea. Perhaps the Great Mothers have something imprisoned on the planet, and whatever that is, it has been calling out to Baylan. Perhaps the Zepho had imprisoned one of the first Zepho that had fell to the dark side who attempted to influence the rest of their civilization. Whatever that Zepho is, could still be on Peridea today. But here's the thing, apprentices and acolytes. It's always so fun to theorize and speculate. And specifically about Abeloth, Abeloth just seems way too powerful to release into the current canon. And what's also remarkable is that nothing like Abeloth is really mentioned inside the sequel trilogy. And if we were going to incorporate Abeloth into the new Disney canon, something that powerful would have made their presence known inside the Star Wars universe. I think Palpatine's strength in The Rise of Skywalker would have been enough to be a threat to Abeloth, and perhaps that's why she's never mentioned inside the sequel trilogy, still lingering outside the known galaxy. And very clearly, Snoke makes the most sense. And we know that Ahsoka and the Mandalorian is eventually going to tie into the sequel trilogy. And what I've always thought is so interesting about the sequel trilogy is that everybody knows Snoke. With the Kylo Ren comics, we know Snoke has been around for some time to the point he's made himself known with Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and of course, Ben Solo. And the Zepho just seems like a shot in the dark. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. One, because hieroglyphics on Peridea doesn't really mean anything, and we've seen other forms of Star Wars media and Star Wars languages not really correlate to everything. Even a lot of the translations don't really translate into anything meaningful. I think a lot of times this could be just a diversion or just there to look pretty on a set. And the fact that we haven't had the mothers really express that they're hiding something, I just don't think that they're intelligent enough to hide something like that away from Thrawn. Thrawn has been exiled on Peridea for 10 years, and I think him being unaware of a threat lingering on that planet just doesn't seem very accurate. He even knew the exact location of Ezra Bridger, so that wouldn't make sense for him not to know about some terrifying lingering threat on the planet he's been exiled on. But let me know what you think. I would love to hear more theories because I love speculation and I love to discuss this stuff because it's always so fun, and that's what Star Wars is about. Talking about Star Wars with your friends. Let me know what you all say. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you around next time, fam. Deuces.